Good day, everybody. As you can see, we're out here in the beautiful countryside with my 1993 Volvo 240. And I've realized I've had the chance to take you guys on a few winter drives, winter adventures in this car, but I haven't taken the chance yet to properly introduce you and show you around it a bit. So thank you everybody so much for joining me today. It's sort of a dream car for me that I picked up earlier in November. And while I've owned this car for a little over a month now, I only just started daily driving it a few weeks ago. Right now in the heart of Canadian winter. By no means is it a perfect car, but the condition that the body is in and the lack of rust and rot is spectacular, especially for this area. It's also -10 out here today with a cold wind chill. So it's freezing and I'm just gonna put these big gloves on. Something I noticed right away when I went to look at this car is the Valentine Volvo Calgary, Alberta sticker. What's really neat about that, this is the exact same dealership that my Volvo 850 was sold at in the 90s also. You'll see the 240 Classic badge here. The Classic is basically a trim level package, and I believe all of the Classics are numbered, which you can see on the plaque on the dash. It's always really cool connecting with other 240 Classic owners and finding out what their number is. So the wagon might not be the sportiest body style that these 240s come in, but it's got to be my favorite. A wagon rear-wheel drive with a 5-speed manual transmission is a spec that I couldn't be happier to own. And the rear seats fold down flat, giving you all of this space for storage and whatever you want. Maybe I should try camping in here, I don't know. Now I'm gonna pop the trunk for you guys. Let's take a look in the back. So I definitely wanna share a bit of my buying experience and a bit of the ownership history this car's had. You'll see the previous owners put on this hitch, as well as this back glass might not look right. It's actually a piece of plexiglass or something like that the previous owner cut out and put in himself after the rear glass broke. He honestly didn't do too bad of a job, and it avoided him an extremely cost of shipping this rear glass from Sweden. I wish it was a factory glass, but it doesn't bother me much. The main con is probably not having the rear defrost lines. So I've got a couple sleds or toboggans in here that I'm just gonna pull out. And now you can see this extremely large storage space we have in the back here, which I absolutely love. I've seen pictures of a rear-facing jump seat that you can install that came as an option in some of these wagons. And then there's also this underneath storage space, which is nice. And then just in there is the spare tire storage. So super cool. I love it. This is the first wagon I've ever owned, and it's a lot of fun. When I bought it, there was a canvas tarp installed over all this in the back, thankfully, which probably saved this interior back here a lot. And back here was where their dog rode. I've got most of the dog hair out now, but I had to do a lot of cleaning when I first got this car. Now I'm gonna pop the hood and show you guys the engine, talk about what it's got under the hood. So I am the third owner of this car. The owners I bought it from owned it for around 7 years and had purchased it from the original owners. The car hasn't received a major overhaul like my Volvo 850 did before I bought it, but they definitely maintained it over the years. So it's far from neglected. Under the hood, we have the B230F engine, which is a notoriously bulletproof and reliable engine and is a really popular platform for enthusiasts for turbocharging and other modifications. I really appreciate the aftermarket availability for these cars compared to other older vehicles I've owned. I haven't got a ton of miles on the car yet in my ownership, but I'm looking forward to doing more. And as far as I can tell, the engine's been running strong, running great. I'll be keeping an eye on the fluid levels. The manual transmission shifts smoothly. I'm definitely planning on doing some more maintenance and tune-up, change some belts that are a little noisy, but all in all, it's a strong runner and really fun car. If you're a frequent watcher of the channel, you know something I love about vehicles and really appreciate is their interiors, especially well-kept ones. So let's hop inside this car and take a look around at what the interior of this legendary Volvo 240 has to offer. I'm also freezing out here and excited to hop in the warm cab of this car. Real quick, something kind of funny I noticed with this car is how thin the gap is to get to the door handle. So when I'm wearing a glove, I actually cannot lift the driver's side door handle. It's pushed in a little more than the others, but even on the others, it's hard to open these doors with gloves. So let's hop in. Inside the Volvo 240 now, I think the first distinctive feature you'll notice are these headrests. These headrests are pretty iconic to me and definitely recognizable as a Volvo 240 headrest when I see them. They're a sort of hard, squishy material that I suppose supports your head in the right way. I don't mind them at all. I like the way they look for sure. Now, glancing over now at the interior, what the Volvo lacks in cup holders, it makes up in this kind of sleek elegance and subtle style. It has a really sleek, clean appearance, really reflecting that kind of modest Volvo luxury. And here's the plaque on the dash I was talking about. This car is number 1304 out of 1600. This being a later model does have the SRS airbags, which is nice. Now the only things aftermarket is this stereo deck and this switch that was wired to 2 rally lights on the bumper. Got a rear defrost, hazards, heated mirrors, which I don't think work, AC, which is out of service for now, our cigarette lighter or 12 volt. And then we have more very simple climate controls. Now the climate controls on this car are so very simple, with hot and cold slider, a feet button, a defrost button, and a recirc button. And then our 1 through 4 fan controls. So this is pretty much as simple as it gets, and which I love to see in a Volvo car like this. Now next to me here, seat belts, little console, and the buttons for the heated seats. And then below, we have our little toggles for the power mirrors. Speakers in the doors, power windows as well, which work very smoothly. This car also has the power locks, but they're not working right now with the turn of a key. That's something to figure out later on. Across the entire dash, you'll see this real strip of wood trim. Got a nice and spacious glove box right here as well. Now for the gauge cluster, of course, the odometer has stopped working, which is a very, very common issue with the gears in the odometer, but that is an easy fix to get working again. And you'll see the tachometer on the side. I actually swapped that in from a Volvo 240 turbo gauge cluster. In its place originally was a quartz clock. It's something I can easily return to original and completely plug and play. As you'll see, the seats in this car are in beautiful condition, no rips or tears. They're still firm and comfortable. I'm really happy with the way that this car has been kept. It could be in a lot worse condition. And the roof is this kind of fake leather vinyl fabric material, stretched all throughout. So yeah, overall I really love the simple but elegant and sleek appearance and practicality of this interior. It's nothing over the top or fancy in any crazy way. It's just super accommodating. Taking a look at the back seats here. This door has quite a bit of rust on the bottom, unfortunately, but it's about the only rust that I've been able to easily spot on the car. There's ample room back here for your passengers, and the seats are likewise in wonderful condition with a big comfy armrest in the center, and overall just such a cozy, comfortable space. These doors have these really nice latching systems. That wasn't a good example. That close really nice and solid. Merge onto the main street here now to show you a little bit of the 0 to 60 action. It's definitely not a race car, if you can tell by the fact that it's shaped like a brick, but it's a peppy little motor. It's a 4-cylinder, around 2 liters, I believe. So it'll get you to highway speeds and you'll be able to hold them consistently. I've heard that the automatic transmissions can feel a lot more sluggish, but it all depends. So we're going around 60, 65 miles per hour right now. And it's about time I need to find a gas station. And of course the exhaust is a little louder than it should be. There must be a leak in the muffler. And there's a little bit of a shake when braking at high speeds, which at first I thought wasn't the brake rotors, but I think it's definitely the brake related. It's a really smooth and straight driving car though. These cars are really well sealed off on the highway, so there's pretty minimal road noise. For a vehicle of this age especially, they're just very quiet, comfortable, and great touring cars. So you can be driving down the road in your 20, 30, even 40 plus year old Volvo 240, and they're remarkable highway drivers for their age. Just a short time out there, you get pretty cold and pretty snowy. But a night like this, with some pretty decent snowfall, makes for a fun night.